Are you worried about failing your real estate exam in the state of Maine? Well, in this video, I'm gonna go through 5 proven real estate hacks that work to pass your real estate exam on the very first try. Let's dive right into it. My name is Chris with the Empire Real Estate YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about real estate entrepreneurship and building your real estate empire. If you like this kind of content, smash the like button and subscribe. Before we get started, I do want to offer you our free guide on how to get licensed and start your real estate career. If you want to check that out, there's a link in the description below. So, you're worried about failing your Maine real estate exam. Did you know that on average, about 64% of people fail their real estate exam on the first try? Well, it's true. The real estate exam is hard, and there's multiple portions of this exam, so it's important to go through these steps to make sure you have the highest odds of passing on the first try. Because going back and having to retake the test is really discouraging, it's frustrating, and it will hold up your process of getting licensed. So first things first, let's go into the pre-license education requirements. In Maine, you're required to complete 55 hours of state-approved pre-license education. If you want to check out great online schools and you haven't done this yet, there's an affiliate link down below to Calibre Real Estate, and they offer really awesome classes. Another thing you must know is in the state of Maine, you're required to get a 75% score or higher. A 70% score will not cut it. So you have to study a little harder and get a 75% score. So I'm gonna give you 5 different hacks you can use to pass your exam on the very first try. The very first one comes down to the way you study. And this all has to do with time blocking. If you haven't heard of time blocking, it's something that a lot of people use to complete successful exams. They also use it in their work life and managing their business. So a lot of CEOs, a lot of top sales executives use this method to be highly effective and also get a lot done in a short period of time. So essentially what I would do is I would time block 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks in a row. Now, the reason I would use this schedule and not study like 5 hours or 6 hours a day is because you're gonna burn yourself out and you're not gonna get the most out of that study time. What you wanna do is you wanna compress that into 2 hours of really hard studying and then give yourself the rest of the day off. The next day, you wanna go back and do that again. You do that 5 days a week and you're gonna take 2 days off. Now, ideally, I would take days off in the middle of that period. So maybe you go 3 days on, take a day off, then do another 3 days, take a day off. So that's kind of how I would do it, is I would kind of make it a elongated process. So that way you have time to reset, digest what you studied, and really maintain a lot of that information. It's important to retain it, because if you don't retain it, then when you get there on test day, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble because it's not an open book exam and you have to really know this information in order to pass. The next hack is kind of a cheat code, and this is to use study tools. Now, there are a lot of different study tools you can use. Some people just pass the exam by using the textbook, but if you want to have an extra edge, then I would suggest looking into a couple different tools. Back when I got my license, I looked into tools and I found some really good ones that helped me pass the exam. The first one I would look into is flashcards. Now, I personally didn't use flashcards when I passed my exam, but it's a great affordable option, especially if you have a study buddy to do this with. If you have a study buddy or somebody that's interested in real estate that's willing to take the time and quiz you and use these flashcards, then it can be a tremendous way to give yourself a leg up and a big advantage in passing your exam. The next tool is one that I personally use to pass my exam, and this is called Prep Agent. Prep Agent is a quiz study aid that you can sign up for online, and they put you through test-like simulations that are very similar to what you're gonna see on your real estate exam, and they also throw in trick questions like you're gonna get on your real estate exam, and this gives you a much higher odds of passing. So if you want to check out Prep Agent, there is an affiliate link down below where you can check that out and see if it's a good fit for what you're trying to accomplish. The next tool I want to talk about is CompuCram. And the reason I like CompuCram is it actually will give you a quiz and it will find out where your weak points are on the exam. So if you're struggling with a certain area it will actually identify that and it will help you double down and study for that particular area. So if you want to check out CompuCrim, there's an affiliate link down below for that as well. These are all great tools that you can use to give yourself the leg up and really study in a more dynamic and interesting way than just sitting there and reading a boring old textbook. When I studied for my exam, I wanted nothing to do with that. It was tremendously boring and I needed something more interactive. And that's why I found these tools, and I highly suggest that you look into them for yourself as well, especially if you're bored by textbooks and you can't just sit there and dive into a book for 2 hours and retain information. If that's not you, then these tools might be perfect. Step number 3 is all about starting your day right on test day. Now, the first tip I'm going to give you is a little controversial and you might not do this, but I highly suggest you do. On test day, don't tell anybody you're taking your exam. If you tell people you're taking it, it's going to add added pressure to make you pass the exam, and a lot of times that can create stress that makes you not really focus in on test day and causes you to fail the exam. So why give yourself all that extra stress by telling people that you're going to take the exam today when you don't have to add that to your life? What I would suggest doing is schedule your exam, go take it, and then when you pass, tell people and celebrate. But I would not tell people ahead of time that you're going to take your exam because it's just going to add a lot of pressure and stress that you don't need. The next step is to de-stress and relax. So before test day, it's important to de-stress, relax, and get ready to go in there and take this exam. If you go in all tense, all tight, you might rush through it and you might not really give yourself the best chance of passing, and you might answer questions wrong that you really know the right answer to. So make sure you de-stress, try to relax, and just go give it your best shot. Step number 3 is eating a balanced breakfast. You want to make sure you have the nutrition to go in there, be sharp, and succeed. Okay, so the fourth hack I want to talk about is focusing on the easy questions first. So what I would do is I would suggest going through the test and all the questions that you absolutely know the answers to and you're 100% certain on, answer those first. And then from there, I would leave the ones that you don't know or you're questionable about to circle back to. So you have plenty of time to complete this exam. Don't rush through it. If you rush through the exam, your chances of failing go up significantly. So what I would do is I would get all the questions that you absolutely know the right answer to, get those done, answer those, and then come back to the ones that you're not sure about. And that way you can put more time into those questions and you don't feel like you're on a time crunch because you probably have the majority of the exam already complete and you're just coming back to, some select questions that you weren't really sure about. But this will give you more time to think about them, dive into them, and give yourself the best chance of answering those questions right. Now, if you don't know the answer to the question, I would use the process of elimination technique. Now, what this is you basically look at all the answers to the question and you eliminate the ones that absolutely make no sense. From here, you're probably going to be left with 1 or 2 answers that make sense, and then you can select the one that makes the most sense. This will give you the highest odds of answering the question right if you're not 100% certain that you know the answer to it. Hack number 5 is some of the mistakes to avoid on test day. Now, this is an important one. The first one is do not rush through the exam. You have plenty of time to take it. In fact, the majority of people finish the exam early. So don't rush through it. You have plenty of time to complete it. And if you rush through, like I mentioned before, your odds of failing are going to go up significantly. The next thing is to read each question multiple times. Most of these questions on the exam are pretty straightforward, but there are a lot of questions that are a little tricky, and the way they're written can be a little confusing. And it's not that the testing company is trying to give you a hard time or they're trying to be manipulative. What they're trying to do is really make sure that you understand the content and you really understand all the concepts in the textbook, and that's why they're asking the question this way. So they can be a little tricky, and one of the most important things you can do is reread the question multiple times before you submit your final answer. Last but not least, make sure you proofread your test before turning it in. I can't tell you how many people leave questions blank and then they get marked wrong. So make sure you answered all the questions, proofread everything, and then from there, submit your test and find out if you passed or failed. Now, if you did fail the exam, don't give up. A lot of people fail the exam the first time and they turn out to be excellent real estate agents and they go on to build a real estate empire. So make sure if you do fail the exam, you come back, you study harder, and you give it another try. Thanks for tuning in. Drop it in the comment section below if you pass your exam, and have an awesome day. Thank you for watching the Empire of Real Estate YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about real estate and entrepreneurship. So if you like that kind of content and you haven't subscribed yet, smash the like button and subscribe. And before we go, there isn't a video over here that we think you'll like, so be sure to check that out as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and you have a great day.